Hey everybody, Tyler from Kyrpton Report. Just want to remind you real quick, if you love shopping on Amazon and you want to support Southgate Media Podcast, if you go to southgatemedia.com, there's a portal where you can log into your Amazon from there, and a portion of everything you buy on Amazon goes to Southgate Media to help support that. So it's a great way of helping out and along with the show.
Hi, this is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to Kyrpton Report.
Welcome to the next episode of the Kyrpton Report. I am your host, Tyler, and with me is my Supergirl, my Wonder Wife, Jania.
Hey guys.
So we're talking Bizarro. Meet Superman.
Or, in this case, me and Supergirl.
Now, do you know much about Bizarro, Jania?
Not a whole lot, Tyler. Would you educate us? Please.
I will do my best to remember everything that I know. Bizarro's always been one of those really interesting characters because there's the version of Bizarro where it's from a whole planet. Like there's a Bizarro world where everything has a Bizarro version. Mm-hmm. Like there's Bat-Zarro and everything like that. And then there's the one where it's a failed clone of Superman.
I remember hearing something about that. Failed clone.
There's the episode in the animated series where there's two Supermans, and then all of a sudden he starts slurring his words, and then his skin starts turning. And then they did Bizarro in Smallville, and they did it really weird, where it was like a phantom that created a copy of Clark, but like in direct sunlight, his skin went white, and it was very glassy and weird looking. It was definitely a different take. But this episode is interesting because when it starts, it says 3 months ago. Well, the last episode ended where you saw Kara supposedly saving, the day, and it wasn't her. And we see Maxwell Lord walking to a research facility, and he's like injecting this black stuff, and he's like, "She's alive." Very Frankensteinish. Mm-hmm. So, and then it cuts to now, where everyone's like freaking out. You have Kat who's like, "Supergirl did this, but it doesn't seem like Supergirl." And Kara's like, "Maybe it's an imposter. Maybe someone's faking it. What's going on?"
And Kat totally buys it, which is dope. So, then we get this kind of interesting, not really electroshock therapy, but like
mind conditioning.
Yeah. Very interesting. They shock her. Well, Maxwell Lord shocks the clone every single time she sees Supergirl. And basically, he's trying to train her that Supergirl is bad and that Supergirl needs to die.
And it's such class, like it's conditioning.
Yes. It's cruel is what it is.
What I think is interesting is he took a brain-dead Jane Doe and turned her, not into like giving her Supergirl powers, but that she looks like Supergirl.
Yeah.
Like
carbon copy.
Yeah.
Throw some glasses on her and put her hair back a little bit, and you'd figure out who she was.
And then we get a nice cutaway
with Adam.
Aww.
Yeah, and Kara's like super cute about it and excited to be going on this date with Adam. But what is one thing that we know about superheroes and humans that they date and the dates that they go on? They never last.
No, they don't do well.
No.
Unless you're Lois and Clark.
Well, true.
Eventually.
Eventually is the key word there. They had to work really, really hard at that. There's a lot of trust there. But when you're first starting off dating someone and you're a superhero, because I know what that's like. I mean, I'm Wonder Woman, so.
I date Wonder Woman. I married her.
But I'm just kidding.
No, she's not.
But anyway, so when you're first starting out dating someone, you're not going to come out and be like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm Supergirl, so I might have to leave in 5 minutes to go save the world." Just so you know, you can't do that. So if you have to leave in the middle of the date, you're going to make your date feel like crap.
Oh, like poor Kara has to, and think of really bad, lame excuses.
It was really bad.
She's like, I have to go help my grandma. I'll go with you. No, stay. I promise, just stay.
But it's really cute because it kind of shows that she's a bad liar. And usually a bad liar, is an indication of a more truthful and honest person. So she has more of an honest and truthful soul.
Exactly. It's in
hard
her
for her
nature.
To lie. So. But it's kind of creepy when she's first, introduced to her doppelganger, if you will.
Because that's what she's not Bizarro yet.
No.
Because they're just alike.
Yeah. She's more of just like a doppelganger to start off with. A very interesting doppelganger that can't talk very well. But still, it's a little freaky. Especially when she's like, we kill you, basically, and starts beating Kara up.
And it's so hard because you can't really tell who's who in the fight scene.
No, you can't.
You're like, all right, Supergirl's hitting Supergirl and the poor people. This whole car suspend the air thing, very kind of reminiscent of Spider-Man.
There are some shots in this episode that I noticed, the CG doesn't look the best.
Yeah, when you have to have two versions fight each other.
Yeah.
There was they do a good job, though, of blending it quick enough that you're like, oh, okay.
That you barely notice it. But if you're critiquing, like we are.
Or you're so used to staring at it all the time.
Right. You could really tell.
I like the callback to Red Tornado and Dr. Morrow.
Yeah.
About how the android was trained to mimic her and learn her moves and everything about her.
So they're trying to figure out if that's the actual clone. If the clone is from Dr. Morrow. Or from his ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take him too long to find out that Maxwell Lord's behind it, though.
And what's funny is, it becomes that default. Something's bad. Maxwell Lord's involved.
Lex Luthor. Telling you what.
And it gets more fun when it's no, I'm not involved. Now, not to hate on any relationships or anything, but I know in real life that they're married, Melissa, and I'm drawing on his name right now. Sorry, dude, but guy who's playing Adam. But I don't feel it, man. You're not selling me with your acting here. I don't feel it.
Thank you. It's a little on the stale side. She's definitely rocking it, like she always does. I think that she's a really great actress, Melissa. But yeah, his performance in this episode, the last episode he did pretty well. But in this episode, it feels a little stale, a little fake.
I feel like maybe he should have a line here that says, I don't know what I'm doing on CBS. Maybe I should be on a CW show.
Aww.
And that's not a knock on CW shows. I mean, he has more of that teen drama angst to him. He's like, I should be on the vampire.
Salvatore brother on
the
Vampire Diaries.
That's what I was saying. On the lost Salvatore brother. What's up, guys? I'm your reincarnated father.
That's
Boom.
so creepy.
New season. I like that cat named her Bizarro. I mean, that's
kind of the cool part about Kat. She's the person that really creates everything. Honestly, she's almost like the core of the show if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about this. Every superhero, the only one I can think of right now off the top of my head, Batman, Spider-Man, the only ones I can think of off the top of my head that really name themselves. Everybody else kind of gets a name from the media.
Yeah. Because the media is king.
I like that he's using, I think it's a precursor maybe to Red. light or red solar energy or something, but he's using it to fix Bizarro's like skin where it's cracking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Max is like, don't worry. And she has this very childlike mindset, innocence at the same time.
She's definitely a lot like Frankenstein's monster, where she wants to believe everything that Maxwell Lord is telling her.
Her quote-unquote creator, her father.
Yes.
And she's trying to figure out, like, if Supergirl's bad, why'd she save these people? And you know what's sad is, like, Max gets kind of outed quickly of being the villain here. And I kind of liked the Alex and Max
dynamic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, their relationship and just their banter and, like, just their whole thing could have been really expanded upon and continued and, you know.
I'm thinking there could have been more of a romance there.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, and I think that there's still that possibility there, because there could be redemption in the future. And maybe Max can turn around and maybe, you know, do the thing that Lex Luthor could never do. So.
Forgive and be a good person.
Yes. And in that sense, he would be different from Lex Luthor, and we would be able to separate him from being Lex Luthor. So.
And
just dreaming about that.
It's one of those things, like, I kind of feel sorry, like, the more I watch the show for Alex, in the sense, is her whole life because the way it is because of Kara. Like, she works for the DEO because Kara was an alien, so it gave her insight. She doesn't look like she, like, has any kind of social life.
Because her world revolves around being a part of the DEO and being, you know, Kara's sister.
And I'm just like, I feel sorry for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of do too. She's like the forgotten child. She's definitely not always in the limelight, that's for sure. I really like her character, though. Like, as it keeps going on, in the beginning I kind of thought she was a little annoying. But now that they're developing her character more, I think she's a really strong female character, which this show definitely seems to cornerstone on the strong female characters, you know? It's really neat, though. And then, of course, you have random Hank Henshaw, so.
Yep.
So, okay, it's kind of interesting. In the beginning of this episode, they're trying to figure out who this doppelganger is, okay? And in their minds, they're like, well, she's a villain, you know, but halfway through the episode, they start talking about, you know, they find out that Maxwell Lord is in on it, and they believe that she's the victim, you know? So they're trying to look at it from a different perspective.
I agree. Like, what's neat is, in every other version, they always look at Bizarro. It's either from another planet, but most commonly, it's a science experiment. And in this, it's like, it's a science experiment, but at the same time, she was a real person that they used for the foundation of the science experiment.
Yeah.
So it is a person.
Yes.
It's not just something that Max, like, it's not like a clone or something that Max created, like, in a tube. Like, she really is a person.
Yeah. And it's really tragic, like I said. It's quite tragic to think about the actual person that was turned into Kara. That's probably going to fall, you know, is going to fall apart, you know.
Yeah, you wake up one day like, hey, you hate this person. Why do I look like them?
Yeah. So as soon as the relationship between Kara and Adam begins, it ends.
Which is sad, because they were doing well. But, like, it's that same thing where if he isn't in the loop of that she's Supergirl, the relationship can never work.
It's very true. And he genuinely has interest in her, too. A lot of interest. He's, like, taken back by her. Finds her very intriguing.
And that would be so hard because then Kat would be like, I hate you, Kira.
Like I said, it could turn into a very sticky situation with, being your boss's son. How do you say no, too? Like, your boss's son asks you out, and your boss is, like, looming over you. How do you say, no, I can't go out with you, I'm sorry? You basically can't, especially if your boss is Cat Grant. So, oh my gosh. So let's talk about Bizarro a little bit more. I really love how they portray her in this and how her outer Kara shell just breaks down, and then you get like the face of the actual girl.
Yeah, who's playing
this Bizarro character, and she's very broken. She's very cracked. She almost looks like she reminds me of like a porcelain doll that's been like broken in her face and stuff, been dropped a couple times too many.
So what happens when she fights with Kara is, it starts to reveal that. Now, I do think it's funny, though, that somehow the symbol on her outfit got flipped. like, I don't know if I missed it or something, but all of a sudden, her crest is backwards.
Yeah.
And her outfit's getting darker, which I think is interesting. They start replacing the blue with like a darker blue, purplish tint and a reddish maroon. Mm-hmm. Compared to the regular red, like they start.
I don't really see Maxwell doing that on purpose.
What was funny was in the comics at one point, a Bizarro, like in the New 52, like the symbol was backwards because the Bizarro put the Superman T-shirt that he had on inside out.
Yeah.
And that's how he had it. Now, what's interesting is Miranda rights. Like, I don't know how it all works, but being arrested by an organization that doesn't quite exist when you're as high profile as Max Lord,
Mm-hmm.
Trial, due process, all that stuff that we have in our country. And by this time, he's figured out who Supergirl is.
Yes, because of those nifty surveillance cameras.
The surveillance
cameras.
And poor Jimmy gets to meet Bizarro. He said, "What the hell?" And she's like, "No, not what the hell, Bizarro."
Well, I mean, she takes what's valuable to Kara. Maxwell knows who she is at this point, so he's going to instruct Bizarro to hit her where she's weakest, and where she's weakest is with the people she loves.
That's always the Kryptonian's weakness. Well, Superman and Supergirl.
That's always any superhero's weakness.
True, but I mean, you can shoot Batman in the head.
Well, I mean, yes, but it's very hard, especially with all that Kevlar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but take Robin, Batman crumbles.
Oh, Robin.
My point. So, anyway.
Are you saying that Martian Manhunter is Kara's Robin?
I would think Jimmy Olsen is more Kara's Robin.
Poor Jimmy.
Poor Jimmy. Jimmy is not poor Jimmy. Win is poor Win.
Oh,
I feel so bad for Win.
I haven't got the friend zone Win yet.
Like all the time. Always feeling bad for Win.
I want to give Win a hug and just be like, dude, let's just go bro out somewhere.
Bro out somewhere?
Yeah, hang out, talk about life, and let him know that, you know what, you can be the good guy. It does get better.
Is that a legit phrase? Bro out somewhere?
Maybe. Maybe I just made it up. Who knows?
Oh, you probably did. Oh, well.
All I know is I just gave him like, look, man, I found my Supergirl. You'll find your special girl.
Special girl.
Well, I mean, he actually knows the real Supergirl, so I couldn't say you can find your Supergirl, because then you wouldn't actually find anybody.
Mm-hmm. So I love how towards the end of this, Jimmy is captured by Bizarro, right? She takes off with him, And he tries to the best of his ability to crack her shell and get down
Crack
to
her shell.
yeah, get down to her humanity and her compassion and the base of, her heart, and it's quite sad because I think Bizarro has compassion. She just doesn't. She was told not to use it.
She was
she's
conditioned and brainwashed, yeah.
Yeah. So I think she's afraid of that.
She doesn't know who or what to believe, much like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
Especially in the Universal films. And he's going to hit his signal watch, and she says, like, no, that is pretty dope that she has fire breath. The exact opposite of Supergirl's super breath. When I was younger, I always thought it was just freeze breath. But then I realized it was just super breath, which can freeze, but still.
Yeah.
And then they got the blue kryptonite bullets.
Because they found out the green kryptonite can't work on her.
Fire versus super. I wonder how many times that her action scenes are just, Melissa, just kind of make these poses and scream, or make these poses like you're blowing air. And walk forward, okay? Look intense, blow air. All right, well, it'll look good in post, don't worry. Do you ever think they edit it in, like, and they show everybody the scenes before the special effects, just so you don't have a good laugh?
Now, Melissa, just stand there and stare off in the distance quizzically.
See, I like this now, because you can tell who's who fighting, because Bizarro is darker. Mm-hmm. You can actually say, hey, it's Bizarro.
Hair color's a little different, too.
Hair color's a little darker.
Yeah, a little bit more dingy, not as much
She's
brightness to it.
Grunge Supergirl. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, Jimmy, the damsel in distress, is just off to the side.
Damsel in distress.
Just off to the side, waiting like, save me, Supergirl, save me.
I love how B.A., her sister is, Alex. Like, she just shows up, when Supergirl is fighting basically another Supergirl. And she's like, it's okay, I got my gun, I got this. Like, she's not even afraid. Like, she just shows up and does her job. She does her thing. And she's just a really ballsy character.
Yes.
She's not afraid of anything.
No.
I really like that.
I just think Jimmy's funny. Like, I'm just tied up over here.
I'm just hanging out. Ha, ba-dum-chum. So, I know they feel really, really bad for Bizarro.
I love that even though, like, it's her enemy who was trying to kill her, as Bizarro's dying, she's still by her.
I mean, what I think is really sad about this ending is Supergirl's sitting on the side of her bed, basically, and holding Bizarro's hand. They're trying to figure out a way to help her. So they're putting Bizarro, or the girl who's playing Bizarro, into a coma. To see what they can do to save her.
And
So I wonder if that's going to come back up in the future.
it's a good thought. I mean, where you could take it, like, she's in a comatose state. Everyone thinks that the Jane Doe that she was is dead. Look, it's the famous superhero talking to the supervillain in a cell. And he even makes the off reference of the truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't, well, we know it doesn't end up like the end of, what was it, Avengers?
Yeah.
Where Thor goes in to talk to Loki, and then Loki, like, switches out with them and puts him in the prison cell. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Thank God Maxwell Lord is not magical.
Or the Joker in The Dark Knight, where he wants to be in the cell.
No, Maxwell Lord has sense. Maxwell Lord is not insane. That's for sure.
He's
fearful.
That's my way of torture. Give him a bed to lay on that's just slightly too small so he can't get comfortable.
There you go.
Being such a tall person, that's pretty much every bed. Yeah.
So.
She said Opal City.
Who did?
Right there. Adam's went back to Opal City.
Okay.
That stands out. We know that this is a different Earth because of that scene in The Flash where he's traveling. He sees Supergirl flying when he's running through the multiverse.
Yeah.
And so that's just interesting. That's just, they mentioned Opal City here, and pretty sure they mentioned Opal City on The Flash before too. So it's just interesting,
Yes, definitely. I think it's really cute that Cat Grant has cat eye glasses.
Yeah.
Side note. I really like the way that Cat handles the situation in the end, where Kara and Adam don't work out very well. She's not really cruel to Kara. She's just like, oh, we just need to be professional about this, and she just kind of lets it go at that.
Which is...
She could have fired her. Mm-hmm. So, it could have been a lot worse. And I was afraid that she was going to fire her.
See, I'm wondering if we'll ever see a return of Toyman. And
Return? I got you. Return.
Mm-hmm. I see how it is.
I got your back, babe. We're cool.
A return of the Toyman. He kills Adam. Like he did in the comics.
Yeah.
Like...
Aw, sad face.
I
like Adam, okay? I like that her husband is playing Adam.
That's cool. It is cool.
Like I said, I thought he did better in the episode before this one. It just seems like maybe he's just an inexperienced actor and needs more time. I'm optimistic about him.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Let's give the guy a chance. He can do well.
Lucy jumps around here and pops around, and it's pretty. Where'd she go? She was here. She's gone. Oh, that's so creepy. Where she flies back in her apartment and the black asters crawling around like some sort of invasion of the body snatchers. Like we were talking about before, this is leading up to the next episode, which is supposed to be for the girl who has everything, which is based off a Superman story for the man who has everything.
Yeah.
Which, I guess it's kind of cool because there's certain storylines that we're seeing through the prism of a Supergirl world that we would never get to see, like in a Superman movie.
Yes. And we do know we're most likely never going to get a Superman series of a live-action Superman.
Yeah,
Superman's too big.
Well, he's become too big.
Yes.
I guess just for some reason we can't get a real Batman TV series on television.
And there's really nothing wrong with that. We've had the Batman animated series and the Superman animated series, and both of those have been amazing. If they continue to do stuff like that, we don't really need a live action Batman or Superman.
It's just crazy when you look back through the history. We had the old 66 Batman as a live action show, but then Superman's always been a TV staple. We had the George Reeves Superman.
Yeah.
Then we had Lois and Clark.
Yep.
We had Superboy, the TV series. And then we had Smallville.
Yeah. But like I said, we just talked about this. Superman has gotten too big.
So, but that's why
he's too big. That's why he's in the big screen.
Just like I think Supergirl works better as a series than if they tried to do a Supergirl movie.
I agree completely. I think this is a really nice step for her.
It lets you build the character in the character's world.
And like I told you, earlier, I've never been much of a Supergirl fan. So for people like me who don't really understand the Supergirl character as much to start with, we get to watch this awesome show, and it really makes you fall in love with the character.
Now let me ask you something. Is there anything that you can think of that you maybe would want to see in like a season 2 of Supergirl? Like any characters? Like I've been trying to think of other people from the DC universe that could appear, and I've only come up with one so far that I think could appear on the show that would really work. And that's Starfire. Okay,
Starfire. Might be cool to bring in like somebody magical like Zatanna.
And that's another one. Like as anyone who listens to the Flash Arrow Power Hour, I'm big on like this whole season of Arrow. Like when they brought in John Constantine, how easy it would have been if he dropped a line about, see, I have a magical friend that could help you because I can't find Zatanna.
Or maybe even Zatara. It's Zatara, right?
Yeah, her father.
Yeah.
Like, that would be cool. Like, but definitely I think Zatanna would be sweet on this show. Like, that's definitely a character I think that can sell and expand the mythos that, unless they make a Justice League Dark film, we won't see anywhere else.
Well, I think that she would fit in really well because this is a show about,
powerful women.
Powerful women.
That's why I said Starfire, too. So, Zatanna and Starfire for season 2.
I think that'd be cool. I think that would be really, really cool. What about villains, though? That's the tough one.
Yeah.
That's the one that, like we talked about earlier, they're having a little bit of a difficulty with finding those villains. And I like your idea of them kind of coming up with a Supergirl villain, just a solely Supergirl villain that has no ties to any of the Superman villains. It's something that just stands on its own, is completely different.
Create something specifically for this series.
Yes.
Like,
give us something that is not a Maxwell Lord Lex Luthor. Is not an Astra,
Zod,
Zod.
A Bizarro.
Non and Zod, yeah, kind of thing. Like, give us something different, something richer, something that's just for her. So, because, that's what really makes a character.
They always say the character's
awesome villain.
defined by their villain. So many times you can say a hero and think, okay, their arch enemy is this. And I think that's kind of, in a way, what Arrow has struggled with and why people got so outraged with the Ra's al Ghul. They made it, they started using a lot of Batman villains. And some of them were more DC villains. Like, I always consider Deathstroke more of a DC villain because he appears in Teen Titans. He's appeared against Batman. He's appeared against Arrow.
Yeah.
But Green Arrow doesn't have, of course there's Merlin, which they've used, but that's the closest to like his big villain that you can get. So,
and that's probably why, for instance, Green Arrow isn't as well known to the mass audience, as for like Batman.
Maybe because Batman stole all the good villains.
Batman has amazing villains.
And continues
but Batman would be nothing without the Joker. Let's be honest here.
We need to save that podcast for something else.
I'm just saying.
We'll probably do our own special.
I'm a huge Joker fan, guys. He's my dude.
We'll record our own special for Suicide Squad. We'll be like, we interrupt the Kyrpton report to bring you this special news bulletin.
We just watched the Suicide Squad.
All right. Well, anything else you can think of? Any other comments on this episode?
Not that I could think of. I'm really excited about the next episode to see what happens with, the
Black Aster flower?
Black Aster, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to see how they do it because the neat thing is they can take inspiration from the comic it's based on, but they can't do exactly like the comic because in the comic you have Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman and Mongol. Mongol would be cool. He's like a third-rate Thanos / Darkseid, but you know what? That could be cool.
Yeah.
Because he was a Supergirl villain. I think, honestly, but see, I don't know. I think if they could find a way, if they expand the mythology out, because you always have Darkseid who wanted Supergirl for his own, someone that could actually defeat Superman. And I always thought Granny is such a creepy character.
I was gonna say we could do something with Oh gosh, what's that planet called? Help me out here.
Which one?
Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Apocalypse. We could do something with Apocalypse and bring in like a...
Big Barda.
Big Barda. Yeah. That would be cool. I almost said Big Bertha.
It's okay. It's close enough.
But yeah.
And the Furies. Yeah. Well,
That would be an interesting film.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep thinking about this. So until next time, dear listeners, send us your thoughts. Hit us up on our social media, on our Twitter. Remember, look up in the sky.